All right, family. We live with the general. You already know what time it is. We got that five for you. We're gonna have a powerful one today. I know I'm gonna hurt a lot of feelings out there, so you got to buckle in. We're gonna be asking a serious questions. Were the Black Panthers integrationalist revolutionaries? Integrationalist revolutionaries. I always had a little feeling about them. I know it's gonna hurt a lot of people feeling, but it is what it is. Nigga, stand on your blackness. Stand on your blackness. Or fall with your whiteness. I can tell you that now. Before we get started, family, before we get started, I want you to make sure you get on over there to my Patreon. The link, yes indeed. Uh right there in the top of the chat. Click that link. Who are the children of the sun? All powerful visuals, mind blowing visuals, information, stunning. Nobody does it better. Get over there and get that work. Nah, so let's get back off into this. Because I'm just gonna tell you straight up. It was just, it was always something that I just it's no it you could put on the black leathers, you can put on you can put on the berets and shit. That shit French. I ain't never I don't care who wore it, even other revolutionaries outside of the Black Panther. I don't respect that. That shit look too European-ish and shit. You know what I'm saying? Putting on them berets and shit. That shit French. And so I don't respect nothing like that. But at the same time, you can put on all the black leathers but it's, where's the blackness, Where's the blackness? And so I seen that it was like a bland presentation a lot of times. It was some of them that would say black power, but when you are working with European groups, it's supposedly socialist, communism. I don't, and you read Mao Zedong and Marxist, and Lenin and and Karl Marx and Lenin and all of that. That ain't what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be reading no Lenin and no Karl Marx and no Mao Zedong. That just don't do nothing for me. You see, that just don't do nothing for me. Those is a whole nother people. They ain't black. What the hell we reading yeah, you can read some things, but you can't take the whole program and think it's gonna work for black people in America. You got to customize our revolutionary for us. And the fact that I just didn't see no African history. So I mean, what's black outside of just, what, slavery and the struggle and but what else is, the few greats that, the greats, yeah, the greats that we have over here within the 1700 up until the time of the Panthers, but we are deeper people than that. And so, I used to, I was seeing, I remember one time I saw this documentary and it was talking about all the fallen comrades, at the end of the documentary on the Black Panthers. And I was seeing all these damn Europeans. And then I seen one of the guys who was one of the founding members, was what was he? He was Japanese. Was he Chinese or was he Japanese? I think he was Chinese because I believe that's where the Mao Zedong came from. The little red book and things of that nature. And so, yeah, and so I say, let me tap into this deeper. And so they were not quote unquote for real black nationalists. They were socialists, and which they, intertwined, a lot of that struggle with other socialist European and Asian groups. You know what I'm saying? And that just don't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? We got our shit is unique. You know what I'm saying? No, they're not fighting for what we fighting, and I don't even believe what was what they wasn't fighting what we was what why we was fighting and what we was fighting for. You see, and a lot of times, let me see, the Chinese was a yeah, but they should have known that though. Yeah, we know he was a Chinese COINTEL, but goddamn, you should know that. Shit, you should know that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I mean, you got these little white boys, man. Come on, man. We got to do better than that. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you squeeze one of them Neanderthals, they talking like a motherfucker. So it ain't no, shit. That's just all it is too. As soon as you squeeze one of them Neanderthals, they talking like a motherfucker. So why, age and shit, they ain't gonna stand the test. They not fighting for what you fighting for. What the fuck is a socialist? I mean, I look at socialism. Yeah, it got to be African socialism. It can't be no Mayo Satan. Mayo Satan was again one of the most brutal fucking imperialists ever in history. That man killed up to 50 million of his own goddamn people. You see? So I mean, when you talking about, you know, this should be something that that shouldn't be a second guess. Yeah, well, whatever they was doing, and whatever they was doing before then, and whenever they chose to become okay, then you ain't a nationalist. I mean, it speaks for itself. You an integrationalist. You see, you're an integrationalist and shit. That's what I'm talking about. You want to be in, I mean, you a party. So, I mean, you ain't got the numbers. So, I mean, okay, you got a party and shit, but what numbers do you have? You ain't got the numbers for a motherfucker to elect you. You understand what I'm saying? You know damn well. I mean, who gonna elect you? You know. So that's what we want to be side by side with the oppressor. That's what it boiled down to. Motherfuckers want to be side by side with the oppressor. They don't want no real liberation. They can't get up all or they can't get up off the white man titty. They love him. That's the same thing with the white Jesus. As soon as you say something about Jesus, well, nobody, God ain't got no color. You know what I'm saying? Or anything. The color don't matter. That's the same excuse that, peoples give when you bring up that. So, to see this picture, and I could see why, some of them groups broke off. The Black Liberation Army went a separate way. Yeah, they might have been black before then, but you couldn't have been too goddamn black. Shit, I mean, you going that quick to become a political party? That's the best you could come up with. I mean, how far did that go? You see, how far did that go? How many? I mean, what did we get out of that? I want to know, what did we get out of it? We didn't get shit out of it. You see, what did you get out of it? It did. It did. It did, cause at the end of the day, man, this is this is all black everything, and even then, you still got to be on, you got to be shaking motherfuckers down, cause it could always, even amongst your own, you know what I'm saying? But most definitely, ain't no damn liberation. I mean, you fighting the beast, and then you got the man children and shit. Pretending like they with you. You know what I'm saying? And all he had to do was squeeze their ass. They telling. They going out the back door. You know what I'm saying? Where they at, and and you already know they gonna let the motherfucker know. Just like what's the brother? What was the brother in Chicago? What was that brother name in the Panther that was in Chicago? I don't know why I keep losing his name. He was with the Panthers and they killed him. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all too slow. Y'all probably don't know either. But yeah, I used to see him with a whole lot of Caucasoids and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all ain't listening. But anyway, but yeah, and so Fred Hampton, I'm glad you came in. Thank you, intellectual. I ain't gonna call you no simpleton. He say intellectual simpleton. Boy, I tell you, boy, our people be coming up with some names, boy. That's hot. Yeah. You say, yeah. Well, shit, Huey P end up integrating his damn self. You know, he might not have integrated, but shit. Huey, yeah, Fred Hampton, yeah, but Huey ended up going into the college. All of them became, how in the hell you gonna go from a motherfucking revolutionary? I understand it to where, I mean, to the point where y'all cocking guns and shit and this, that, and the third. Yeah, and then motherfucker want to be a school teacher. And I ain't hating, nigga. I'm just saying how you do that. That's just like imagining Khalid Abdul Muhammad is hard. A black, yeah, if you had a black guy and you still spitting, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? He was still, it was just like all of them became fucking school teachers and shit. I say, wait a minute, y'all was integrationalists, see, but that's what happened when you ain't got that nationalistic foundation. You ain't got that nationalistic foundation. It's a wrap, man. Straight up, motherfuckers don't know nothing else but to integrate with them Neanderthal. That's why I ran down the statistics. How you gonna integrate with a man that already got 95% of the motherfucking wealth? You know what I'm saying? That right there is a losing situation. Right there. Ain't no other way to explain it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to be a separatist, and for a good reason, because your percent is you got to keep your percent to yourself. You have to keep your percent to yourself. But anyway, family, stay black. Don't integrate. You see, stay 100% black, black owned, black supported, and worship black and study black and sleep black. You feel what I'm saying? I'll see y'all in a minute. I'll be right back with another one. Make sure you get over there to Patreon. We got that fire over there. Who are the children of the sun? You already know what it is. This is a powerful, powerful presentation. The visuals is stunning. The information is off the chain. Don't you dare miss it. And I'll be right back. Black Power.